Welcome to Contractor Tools. This is a video about creating invoices in Contractor Tools. Contractor Tools generates invoices from the data in job estimates, so before you can create an invoice, you first have to create an estimate. The Contractor Tools Essentials plan can generate one invoice per job, and the Pro plan can generate any number of invoices per job. I'll start with the Essentials plan and then show you what you can do with the Pro plan. To create an invoice in Contractor Tools Essentials, all you have to do is go into a job, tap on Invoices, tap on Create Invoice, and you're done. The program creates an invoice for the full amount of the estimate and takes you to the invoice information screen. You can change any of the defaults here and then tap Documents to view or print the invoice. And as with other documents, you can tap on Settings to set options for what information is included and how it's formatted. And you can print, email, or upload the invoice document. That's all there is to creating an invoice in Contractor Tools Essentials. Now let's look at what you can do with invoices in Contractor Tools Pro. Creating an invoice in Contractor Tools Pro is the same. You go into Jobs, select a job, but before I create an invoice, I want to talk about draw schedules. A draw schedule is a list of amounts you plan to bill your customer as the job progresses. You don't have to create a draw schedule, and you would only need one if you're going to invoice the customer more than once during the job. If you don't create a draw schedule, you can generate invoices by entering a progress percentage at the time you create the invoice. If you do create a draw schedule, it will automatically be included in your estimate document, and the draw schedule amounts will be used to automatically generate invoices. To create a draw schedule, tap Draw Schedule and tap Add Progress Invoice to add an item to the draw schedule. This prompts you for a description and a percentage. The description might be, for example, upon completion of foundation, and the percentage might be 20%. You can add as many scheduled draws as you want. You'll notice that each time you add one, the program automatically calculates the final invoice for you. Okay, so that's how you set up a draw schedule. Now on to invoices. To create an invoice, tap plus. This will prompt you to select a method to create the invoice. If you select percentage invoice, it will automatically fill in the draw description and percentage amount from the next draw in the draw schedule. You'll notice that you can also select change orders and credits to invoice here, but if you do, it will only invoice the full amount of the change orders and credits, not a percentage. So tap Save to create the invoice. That will take you to the invoice screen, which I'll come back to later in this video. If you select Fixed Amount Invoice, it will prompt you for an invoice description and the fixed amount to invoice. Enter a description and the amount to invoice, and then tap Save to create the invoice. That will take you to the invoice screen, which I'll come back to in a minute. If you select Itemized Invoice, it will take you to a screen that allows you to select individual line items to invoice and which change orders and credits to invoice. To invoice estimate line items, tap plus. This displays the list of items in the job estimate and allows you to select which items you want to invoice by checking the button on the left. You'll notice that items that have already been invoiced show that here instead of the amount. So you can't accidentally invoice items more than once. You can invoice a whole group of items by checking the button on the group, or if you only want to invoice some items in that group, tap on the group to open it, and then select the items in that group to invoice. The screen shows the number of items selected to invoice here, and when you tap here, it adds the selected items to the invoice. Now about change orders and credits. The other invoicing methods listed change orders and credits in the screen that prompts for the invoice amount or percentage. But to add change orders or credits to an itemized invoice, you have to tap on change orders or credits here. If you tap on change orders, that will list the change orders that are approved and ready to invoice. Tap on the change order to add it to the invoice, then tap Done. And invoice credits, tap Credits. That will list credits that have not been invoiced. Tap on a credit to add it to the invoice, then tap Done. Once you've selected the line items, change orders, and credits to invoice, you can tap Document to see the formatted invoice. But again, I'll get back to this after we look at the last option for creating an invoice, which is Final Invoice. The Final Invoice option automatically creates an invoice consisting of everything that has not been invoiced yet, including change orders and credits. So now that we've selected the items or amounts to invoice, let's look at the rest of the information in an invoice. Select the Info tab to access the general invoice information. This takes you to the Invoice Information screen, which gives you access to things like the invoice issue date and the invoice number. The issue date defaults to today's date. The invoice number defaults to the next available invoice number. You can set the next invoice number in the company settings. ContractorTools will automatically increment the invoice number each time you create a new invoice. Payment terms defaults to due on receipt, but you can select another or add a new one. The description can be any text you want to enter, and it defaults to the description of the item in the draw schedule. When you're done here, tap Document to view the document. As with other documents, tap on Settings to set options for what information is included and how it's formatted. And you can print, email, and upload the invoice document here. I should mention that if the job is set to sync with QuickBooks, the invoice will be written to QuickBooks the next time you sync with QuickBooks. Please see the video about QuickBooks syncing for more information about that. Well, that's it for creating invoices in ContractorTools. Thank you for watching.